before you talk, Karl. I've never heard such wonderful toast in my life.
So good.
Oh.
Let me go to that table.
You want to come?
You can hold the mic.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
I don't know if I'm getting a sneak preview of my funeral. And I'm waking up from my goddamn coffin. Listening to all these nice things and say, I think I'll stick around. And I say that because that was sort of the theme of this party. It's just I'm glad to be alive. It was a close call a year ago. My birthday 1 year ago was at the Episcopal Homes in a little green garden, and they had to wheel me out in a wheelchair. And they had some balloons, and we had Wendy hamburgers. So what a step up to come get my So I'm very happy to be alive. And the lady who's got her hand in the back of my belt loop has made it all possible for the past year. I would say she's very instrumental in helping take care of me and encourage me. But besides this woman, I have 4 lovely daughters who've all been very helpful and encouraging. And I've got lots of friends, former students, and among the people here, I'd love to talk about each one of you. We have friends from the neighborhood. A lot of you left because you knew if I was going to go down, you were probably next. They moved to a place where they're one step away from the dementia center. Sorry.
Edit function still gone. Still gone.
It gives me pleasure when I look out and I see I have some students in here who pick on you, Brad, from the 70s and from the 80s, like Dave and Lee, Julie. From the 90s, people like Amy and the zeros, the Goodmanson girls, and from the 10s, Morgan. So I've had 5 decades of students here tonight. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Anyway, I've loved these comments from all you guys. I think I'm gonna go back into my coffin.
Well, I don't know about you, but I was just dazzled by all these toasts. Good job, Karl, and everybody else. Thank you for coming, and I mean, this is just the beginning of the party, so hang out and have some more chats.
Food.
Thanks. Everything. Show's not over. Our son-in-law, Peter Wilde, would like to say something. So Peter is married to what we often refer to as daughter number 1. Because numbers are so easy compared to names. Peter?
Thank you. So any of you who've been around Karl and the Egge family for a while would not find it out of the ordinary that a son-in-law would be left off the agenda. Yet here we are, I get to close things out. So maybe I've learned something over the years. So I have a story I want to tell that's going to be very brief that I think exhibits for Karl like his love of fun, family, his students, entrepreneurship, and economics. But before that, I just want to give you a little background because I think it's good to understand like who you're hearing, because context is everything. So the first time I met Karl was February of 1989. And of course, I couldn't just meet my girlfriend's father without also meeting Paul. So I got to go on a ski weekend with Karl and Paul and Kendra and me. And this was after my mother had met Kendra a couple weeks before and had said, well, she's definitely gonna dump you. Like, you have no chance. Like, set your sights lower and figure it out. And so I was like not coming into this with a full head of steam, thinking this is gonna really work out well. But Karl really made me feel a lot better because it only took him like 3 hours to just start calling me lard ass. And my name actually became lard ass for 30 years. 30 years, did that come true? Because I didn't want to go to the hot springs outside of Steamboat because they smell like fart. And Karl thought that was an affront, and so I became lardass. But Karl did something else that same trip that absolutely was like, this is far before the Game of Thrones show, but he was like already like the mental chess going on was phenomenal. Because when he showed Kendra and I a room in the condo that he and his best friend are in, and it had bunk beds in it, and we move in, and he says, look, I got 4 daughters. I know you might go up there, she might go down there. I'm an economist, like I've got a supply-demand problem here anyway. And he walked out. Literally couldn't have said anything more terrifying. Like I was expecting, I've got a gun upstairs or something like that, but I was like, what is this guy dealing with? This is really, really actually scary. And I remember like sometime like I was like, hey, how are you doing down there? And I'm like, don't talk to me, don't come down here. Like this is my little space and we're keeping it safe. So anyway, the story I was gonna tell. So in 1986, a company started that the beer is actually here on tap, Summit Brewery. And I started dating Kendra in 1988. And so I would hear from Karl that, this Summit Brewery is a really cool thing. And then he invested, and this would be part, like several check the boxes. So was a student of his, so shows great support of a student, shows supporting entrepreneurship, also great. But then I asked him a little bit about it, and he said, well, I invested $10,000. And I said, well, what's the return? And he said, well, the guy who runs it's a socialist, so there's probably not much of a return here. But I get a free case of beer every month. And so I'm doing the math in my head. I'm thinking a free case of beer, maybe it's $1 a beer, so maybe that's $24, maybe it's $30, who knows what that is on $10,000, $360 a year, let's say. But then we come back and visit again, and he's checked 2 more boxes. He's checked the economist box, and he's checked the family box, because he says, I had a great idea. I've given my shares to my 4 daughters. So there's the family part, but here's the economist. And so now we're 4 shareholders. So every time I show up each month, I get 4 cases of beer. And the $360 is now $1,200, $1,300, whatever it is. That's actually a very good return on $10,000. And I was like, yes, it is. So I just thought of that this morning. I was like, this story is like I think it's just perfect because it's like checks all these little boxes of these things that just are what Karl does without even really trying to do it. So from Lardass, I'm gonna sign off now, and I'll set you back to your regular programming, which I think is buffet and the bar. Thank you.